What is the darkest thing about your person or the person you've been dealing with? This can resonate for many soul connections, and we've got pick a card style. So we've got one crystal and card is the Herkimer diamond. We've got the malachite, and we've got the rose quartz. And I'll leave timestamps. This is for what is the darkest thing you're dealing with about this person? What is something that is dark about them that is perhaps making waves in your connection or relationship with this person? Maybe they need to heal this before moving on with you, or getting back with you, or just moving into more of a healthy place. Perhaps they can't do that at all. What will the cards say? What crystal did you choose? Let me know in the comments. So we're going to start with the first card. This is the Herkimer diamond. And what is the darkest thing about the person you've been dealing with? All right, so we've got downcast pride. This is someone who is actually in a state of depression. This is someone who is in a grief stage or a grief state in some way. It could be that they're grieving someone, actually grieving someone. Maybe they lost someone dear to them and they're stuck in a grief stage. I feel like with someone like this, they might be trying to deal with their depression in unhealthy ways. They may have learned unhealthy coping mechanisms and unhealthy ways to deal with things like grief or deep sadness or despair. Because I do feel like this person has very despair energy. I just feel like they might hide it a little better than the next person, but I feel like even lately they're not able to hide it as well as they were hiding it. I also feel like this person is a little bit deluded and a little bit delusional about things in life, or the way things should have went, or the way things they wanted them to go, or they're hung up on dreams of the past. There's something there that is so deep in their past that they can't seem to get to the bottom of it. They can't seem to understand it. They can't seem to understand that whatever this root is from the past is definitely interfering in their life, in their happiness, and in their relationships. I feel like they're very much in survival mode. Yeah, very much in survival mode. They are really not living their life to the fullest. And I feel like if they're in a relationship or were in some type of relationship with you, and, you know, you had certain expectations, excuse me, of them, I feel like they may have diluted that, or they may have been disillusioned about your expectations. I feel like they're very disillusioned about everyone's expectations of them, because I feel like at the end of the day, they really are kind of just fed up. They're kind of like disgusted. They have a little bit of like an apathetic attitude, and they might even be a little bit lazy, because I also feel like this is sort of a choice for them, choosing to stay, you know, down. But I also feel like they're lacking self-esteem. Something definitely took their self-esteem or put like a hit on their self-esteem. I feel like they kind of have a lot to learn still. This is not someone who is going to readily change. This is someone that is going to take a long time to work on themselves. This is someone that is going to be slow with realizations, again, because they're in survival mode. So when someone's in survival mode, they really don't think there's anything wrong with that. They don't really know that they're in survival mode or living that way. So it's hard for them to come to a place of acceptance. This person may just have a hard time adapting. They may have a lot of excuses. They may make a lot of excuses. They may have fear deep down inside of them that, you know, they don't want anybody to know or see that, because they feel like it will make them be seen as weak. But this is definitely someone who, you know, is kind of hardened. but definitely a little bit diluted too. I feel like they might even be a little bit vain at some times, or a little bit egotistical at some times, and these are all bad coping mechanisms. I feel like this person definitely affects you and your moods. I feel like you may have wasted a lot of time talking to this person. A lot of your advice and your, goodwill may have fallen on deaf ears with this person. I feel like their mind is definitely all tangled up in things, and I feel like they're entangled in other people's lives and drama, and it distracts them even more from their self and their true self and what they're supposed to be focusing on to fix or heal. But the root is sadness, grief, depression. I'm not good enough. I'm not smart enough. I'm not going to make it. It's this person really has a negative inner narrative. So that may be what is causing a wedge in your connection or in your relationship with this person. I hope that these messages were helpful, and we're going to move on to the next set of cards. All right, so for those of you who chose the green crystal malachite, what is the darkest thing about the person you've been dealing with? So we've got parasite. This is somebody who is in a state of depression. This is somebody who can't forget the past. This is somebody who has a lot of regrets. Somebody who has a lot of could-haves, should-haves, what-ifs, would-have-beens. I feel like they're so hung up on the past and all the shit they didn't do or get to do or they wanted to do that they don't even know how to live in the present moment or even think about the future at all. The future scares the shit out of them. It scares them so much that they almost like feel comforted by their past or their memories, even if they're painful. They'd rather live in the past where maybe in their mind it was safer, even if it wasn't, or it shaded them in some way, or it made them codependent. I feel like that's what I'm hearing here. That's what I'm feeling with this. I feel like they have a lot of codependency issues. They have a lot of abandonment fears, and I feel like they might attract unhealthy people, unhealthy situations. They might attract people that are unpredictable. They might attract people that are unsafe. They might attract people who are emotionally unavailable. They're just not attracting healthy people. I do get a little sense here that this person may be a bit parasitic, where they want to live off of other people's energy. They might be a bit of an energy vampire. They might have issues with like identity, struggling to know who is their authentic self. And they are definitely fearful. There's a lot of fear on their mind. There's a lot of dark thoughts that weigh on this person. I feel like, though, if you have a relationship or connection with this person, it might have been all give and no take, or it might be all give and no take. It might be where, you're always helping them, you're always supporting them, you're always talking to them, you're always giving them advice, they're always coming to you, and you're, giving and giving, and they're just sucking and sucking and sucking. It's as if you're like a well that they think will never go dry. So if you're away from this person, it's a good thing, because this is somebody that has deep, deep, deep problems and maybe very toxic and attracted to toxic people and toxic connections, and just will bring that to you. They're always going to be in crisis. They're always going to be in a dilemma, and they're always going to go to the people around them for comfort and advice. And, they don't really want true advice. Okay, I feel like advice will fall on deaf ears with this person. They don't want true advice. They want somebody to vent to. They want somebody to feel bad for them. They want somebody to pat them on the back and kind of like a little child hold their hand through all their pain and misery and suffering. I feel like they do have like unfair circumstances. I don't know how else to say it. I feel like, they are definitely somebody who has suffered But I feel like they make their suffering like the forefront of their life. And I feel like they might even overshare. They might be somebody that they'll tell anybody about their problems, anybody who'll listen, anybody who, will give them attention or make them feel seen or heard, because they don't feel seen or heard. Yeah, definitely definitely this person has a lot of problems. I feel like, they can't survive alone. They kind of will always seek company. They'll always seek comfort. I feel like they might be very needy. They might be a user, unfortunately. They might not know it. It might not be malicious, but I feel like they might be a bit of a user. Because I feel like if they don't have someone, if they don't have people, they think, in their mind, they think they're withering away. There's something very disturbing about that this person clings to unhealthy people or unhealthy situations in order to not be alone. So they'd rather tolerate and put up with abuse than be alone. I feel like they have a serious hunger for safety and support, but they don't realize that they got to give it to themselves, or they got to seek it in healthier ways like therapy, or that sort of thing. So I feel like, yeah, this person is in a state of depression. I feel like if you are away from this person, it's a good thing, because likely they were only sucking from your energy or tapping you like you were a well until you were all dried up. I hope that these messages were helpful to you. Take care of yourself, and like and follow for more. All right. So if you chose the rose quartz, what is the darkest thing about the person you've been dealing with? We've got Bride in a Cage. So the darkest thing about the person you've been dealing with, Bride in a Cage, has to do with denial state. It's like someone who is in denial. They can't accept their circumstances. They can't accept maybe their past. They can't accept, where they are in life, or the relationship they're in, or their circumstances. I feel like they're always hopeful that there's going to be a better tomorrow. Like, even if today is hell, this person kind of has this mindset like, today is hell, but tomorrow might be a little bit better. I almost feel like this person thinks they deserve pain. They think they deserve, almost like to be treated like dirt. I also feel like they're waiting for the perfect experience, the perfect person, the perfect experience, the perfect love, when they're not just loving themselves. They're not giving themselves that love. They're not, filling their own cup. I feel like this person is definitely in a victimhood kind of mentality. I also feel like they have way too high expectations of people. Like, when they get involved in a relationship, they have like these impossible expectations of someone. And I also feel like they might be in a rush to run to the altar with people. To them, just getting married might be they need to check off a box. But they want someone to act and behave and be a certain way. They can't handle disappointments. They can't handle delays. They want everything, now. I feel like even though this person thinks they know what they want in the future, and they're so like almost like mechanical and methodical about it, they don't understand that anything can change at any moment. So I feel like they set their sights on things and spend way too much energy, and then they get really upset when it's a different outcome. And I feel like they would drag you into this and drag you into that. They're definitely longing for something, but they don't even know what it is. And not one single person can fill it. I feel like this person has a lot of friends that, they're always crying to their friends. This person very much likes to gain sympathy from people. It's a very toxic trait in them. And they will do it if they're not receiving it from you. They will go looking for it. They will go, no matter where it is, they'll go digging in the past. They'll go digging through the trash for it. But no matter what it is, they want that. I feel like they cannot accept their imperfections. I feel like they might be a bit of a perfectionist, a bit of a control freak, a bit of someone who wants to call the shots or wear the pants. And they have to let go of control, because that's not going to work in any relationship. That's not going to work anywhere. It's just someone who is choosing kind of to stay down and sad, and someone who doesn't know how to make themselves happy, and they think that it can come in the form of another person. A relationship and a person is going to make me happy. That's their outside like vibe. I'm going to have it. They're going to do X, Y, and Z to make me happy. They don't realize that another person is not their puppet. They'd rather speak to their partner as if their partner was a child rather than an adult. And they do want all this attention, credit, and validation for anything that they do for their partner. They also live in denial about their own toxic traits. They live in denial about the healing that they need to do. They live in denial about the people in their life, like their parents might be toxic. They're in denial about it. They might be in a state where, what they wanted wasn't really what they wanted. I'm trying to, how do I say this? What they wanted wasn't what they got. I feel like they hype things up, and then when they get it, they realize they made too big of a deal about it, and then they deal with this awful sinking disappointment. I feel like they don't like themselves, they don't like their own appearance, they don't like their own reflection, and it affects outwardly. I feel like they have almost a very jealous and envious and very kind of bitchy attitude. Like they think their shit doesn't stink, but yet they're very insecure. They're deeply insecure. They'll fish for compliments. So if you're away from this person, it is a good thing. This is someone who has some deep, deep, deep inner child work to do. And this person might even be a bit of a narcissist, which if they are, there's not a lot of luck with that for people. But I mean, a person like this can only really teach you that, you can only love yourself, and you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. I hope these messages were helpful. Please like and follow for more. Follow me on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. Love and light.